Today we're going to frame out a niche in the back side of this new shower base. We want to make sure that we get this framed out and get it accurate before we start installing any of our backer board. So what we want to do is find center of our tub. I'm going to show you how to do that right now. Hi everybody, I'm Jim Dierdorf and this is Detroit DIY. What I want to do is frame out two compartments in this wall right here. And I know you can go buy a plastic niche and you can put it in there and it's super easy and I'm sorry, I'm not big on having plastic stuff with tile attached to it and hoping and praying that it stays there forever. So we're going to frame it out and we're going to build it out of wood, and then we're going to put our cement board over the top of it, our hardy backer board, and everything's going to be great. We're just going to build our niches in that way. So what I need to do first is find the center. So I've got my Dovoh HG360. I will put a link in the description to this exact laser level. I really like this laser level. It is nice bright green light, easy to see. And what I want to do is center it on my drain. So my drain has 6 openings, so the middle row is going to be center. So let's get this thing turned on. There we go. Let's unlock it. Let's get our vertical line. Let's turn our horizontal line off. I want to move the laser level back as far as I can so that across my drain I get the most accurate read possible. So let's move it back to here. So this way it's not hard to visualize if my line is going straight across each and every one of those grids. And it's pretty close, but I'm a little bit off, so I'm going to adjust it just a little bit more. So I am pretty happy with that right there. Now while I've got this in here, I'm going to cover this whole shower base in cardboard and paper so that it receives no damage while I'm working. Kind of why I wanted to take advantage of this right now. But using this line right here, that is going to be where my shower nozzle is going to come out, the center of my shower valve. Everything I need I'm getting right now off of that line. And off of this line I'm getting the center of my niche. So I'm going to just take a pencil, trace these lines out, and then I'll be able to get this laser level out of here, and I'll be able to make all my center measurements off of that pencil line. Now that I have my center line in here, we've decided we want the niche to be in the center of the shower space. So, and we're going to do two 12-inch-ish sections of niche with a shelf in the middle. So I need to cut part of this 2x4 out of here. That's what we're going to do right now. Lucky for me, whoever redid this house many years ago loved putting 2 layers of drywall, so I have 2 layers of drywall here. Now I have to keep in mind that there may be nails in this stud through the drywall, even the second sheet. So I may make a couple holes in the wall in this other room. I'm not sure, we're going to find out. Maybe they didn't nail to this 2x4, who knows, maybe we get lucky. But it's got to go. I've already got my lines drawn on here, so I'm ready to cut. now that it's cut, a little gentle bumping, and hopefully we can get her to move. They're not nails, they're screws. There's 3 of them. Actually, there's four of them, and some nails. All right. So, not the worst thing that could happen. We just have to go look at the other room now and see if I caused any damage. I have a little piece of wood left right here. I'll just get my oscillating multi-tool and cut that out of there. Okay, with this section of the 2x4 cut out, I checked my other wall. I have absolutely 0 damage. So when you're doing something like this, remove it gingerly as you can, and hopefully the mud stays in place on the other wall. How thick that is exactly, I don't know, but there's no damage on the other wall. What I need to do now is finish my framing. So my room here is actually about 5/8 of an inch too large. So I have this gap that, you know, I can pretty much put my finger in right here. So I need the sister studs on to come out and complete the width of the room. The last people that remodeled this in the 90s just put 2 sheets of drywall to rectify this problem, and that is not what I'm going to do. I'm going to go ahead and get these studs sistered on. This wall is pretty plumb, so I don't have too much to worry about there, but I do need to plumb these as I screw them in. So I got it tight down at the bottom right there, so I am going to get one screw in, plumb it, get the other screw in, and then go ahead and secure it. And I need to put another one right in this area right here. Actually, there's going to be 2 here, but I'm going to get 1 in for right now, and then I can continue on building the niche out. I've got my 2 studs cut and I've got them in place. I've also cut this upper and this lower. These would be the bottom and the top shelf for the niche, and I need to get these in here level. This one is a little looser fitting than I may like, but it's okay because the way I'm going to do it, it's not going to affect anything. So I want to get this nice and level and just get me a pencil line down here. Then I've cut some 6-inch blocks. Right here. I've marked my nice square edge to go up, and I'm going to clamp it in here right on that pencil line that I just made, and then double check everything as far as level is concerned. Okay, with that clamped in place, we are going to check our level. And I'm just a little low, so let's tap this up. I'm pretty happy with that right there. So I'm going to go ahead and put a couple screws in this block and secure it right there where it's at. And again, I'm using 3-inch construction screws. Okay, we're nice in between the lines. I'm going to go ahead and get another screw in this and get it secured. Double check it again before I put the block over here. I've got 4 screws in this lower one here holding it in place, and what that's going to do is allow me to just put my screws straight down through this 2x4, so I'm not trying to toenail them, and I'm not worried about the board moving when I do. So I'm going to go ahead and get 2 screws in here and then double check it, and then we'll put the same thing on that side. That's looking really good. I'm going to do the exact same thing over there, and I'm going to do the exact same thing up here, get these in place, and then we'll come back and get on to the next step. In the very beginning, I used my laser level to find the very center of this shower basin by using the center of the drain, and I marked that out on the walls. So of course this kind of pulled out right here when I removed this 2x4. So I lost my line here, but I still have it here. So using my combination square, I've just set it out where it would line up with that line, and I could trace everything over onto this upper board. Now I'll use my 4-foot level, and I will get my plumb, and I will mark that out. Then once I have those lines, I can measure over from them and get the distance for my uprights for the outside edges of the niche. So we look very good right there. Go ahead and use my combination square to mark out the top, just to aid in measuring. There we go. And I know in the beginning I said 16 inches. My wife thought that was a little too small, so my rough opening is actually going to be 10 inches each way, and then my my niche will wind up being 19, then with the tile somewhere around 18 3/4, a little wider than the typical niche, but that's what it is, and each section is going to wind up being about 12 3/4 or 13 inches tall when it's all said and done. So big enough to hold, you know, your tallest shampoo bottles and stuff like that. So 10 inches each way. Ten inches this way. And there we have it. Now this is a little bit narrower than 1.5 inches, so I might have to sacrifice a little bit here. I'm going to go get a couple of 2x4s. It's not going to be an equal distance. This section here is narrower than here, so we'll get that. I'll get that figured out, and then we will have to lose just a little bit. We won't be able to get that full 20. I have the inside frames of my niche cut out and just kind of sitting here, and I'm going to go ahead and tap them into place. But as I do it, I want to get in here and make sure that they're square, because I don't know exactly how, you know, I put this stud in. I know that it's plumb. I don't know about that stud because I just sistered onto an existing stud, so I don't know if it's plumb this way or not. So currently the way I'm sitting, a little bit tight at the top, so I'll need to knock that over some, and then I'm going to do the same thing here, and at the same time adjust them so they're the same distance. Should be 9.5 inches each way from this center line. So I'm going to make sure they're square in every direction, this way and this way. I don't want them in here twisted. So I'm not going to tap them in completely, and then I'm going to get the square in here, check them. If I need to pull them back out, I will. And I know that the bottom of this, I'm hoping, is tight against. So let's see what we've got. I mean, the top needs to come out just a little bit, not much, but a little bit. I'm going to slide a shim in here just to hold it while I work. Okay, I like that. That looks really good. Now we're going to check it this way, make sure it's the same thing. And it's not. We've got a little room here. So I need to check. Maybe this did not get plumb. I'll check that and make sure. I might have to drop this down a little bit, but that seems strange to me that I would have to do that because the measurements are the same. So I'm going to double check that, and we'll move on to this one and see what we've got here. I don't think this is exactly in place yet. This one currently is looking pretty good there. And it's looking pretty good there. So I don't know what's up with here, why it's showing like that, where where we need to go over a little bit. So, no big deal. I will double check everything and get these all squared out nice. Okay, I discovered my problem, so I just wanted to touch base in case you guys run into something like this. This 2x4 has just a slight bow in it, and it wasn't affecting me too much on the bottom side, but it certainly was on the top. Also, it needed to be out just a little bit down here. So now that I've got these two screws securing the top, we're looking real good down here, and we're looking real good up here. So I'm going to slide me a little shim in here and secure the bottom. I've also set my combination square so I can come in here and check and make sure that I am square off of the face of these. And currently I'm looking really good. This one's slightly twisted, but I'll knock a shim in here and take care of that. Right now I'm looking really good. I'm going to check it with the level or the square one more time, and then I'm going to toenail this one in through this side right here. And I'll probably do the same thing with that one once I get my equal distances from my center line to here and my center line to here. I've already marked the center of these, so once I get these in position, then I can measure and cut my center shelf. Okay, I've got these screwed into place. My measurements from center to here and here, top and bottom, are all the same. And I am nice and square all the way around. And the reason we want to make sure that we're nice and square all the way around is so when we're doing our tile that, you know, we don't wind up with a narrower piece over here than we have over here. That's why we want to make sure these are nice and level and that they carry all the way up from the bottom. Shower pans level, everything needs to be nice and level for your tile, square, so that your tile turns out looking the way you want it to look. Not, you know, starting a little narrow here and getting wider here, because that becomes really obvious to see. So the extra 20 minutes that you're going to spend making sure this is tight is time well spent. Also, because I've shimmed these out, I'm about an inch away from the drywall itself, which is no problem. I will just let my backer board hang over that, and then when I set this piece in on each shelf, obviously all that will be closed up and no one will ever know. And for that to hang over that little bit of a, you know, an inch inside this niche is no big deal, because there's no weight on it, and it wouldn't matter if there was. By the time it's in there tiled, everything else, it's going to be plenty strong for what it is. I'm going to mark out the center of these at 13.5 inches, get a measurement, and get my center shelf cut, and then the frame out on this niche will be complete. So I've got my shelf cut, and yes, it's just going to be 1.5 inches, because by the time I put a 1/2 inch of backer board on each side of it, it is going to grow it to 2.5 inches. So that is plenty wide for the face of the shelf and enough to make it stand out. So I've got this cut where it's fitting in here nice and snug, not super tight, but I'm able to kind of tap it into place and not worry about having to hold it. So that's kind of key when you're doing stuff like this. You don't want it so long that you're just spreading everything out and causing yourself more problems by knocking it into place, but that it's just snug enough to hold itself in place while you get some screws in it. I've got some lines down here. So that's looking pretty good. So I'm going to go ahead and get a screw in this side and then tap this side into place and get a screw in this side. I'm going to screw it here, but when I tap this into place, I'm going to make sure that I'm square. So I'm just going to toenail it one screw right through the face. Then I'll have the ability to twist it if I need to, or do whatever I need. A little bit deeper. There we go. There's my line. Tapped it in a little too much. There we go. This I'll check with my combination square. And guys, that looks perfect. So I'm going to go ahead, get a screw in this and another screw in the top on each side, and we'll be done. Check it this way for square. We're looking good. And we're looking good. So we'll go ahead and get this thing socked into place, and this is going to be a wrap. Okay guys, I got this one all screwed in place and we are ready to go. I've got a bottle of body wash sitting here, but you have to remember we're going to lose a 1/2 inch on each side for our hardy backer board, and then we're going to lose maybe another 3/8 of an inch for our tile. So that's going to shrink this up a little bit, and it'll be plenty of room, and it won't be overly large for what's sitting in it. You'll be able to easily fit a 12-inch tall bottle when both of these are finished. So they're of equal height, so everything will be good. There'll be plenty of room to set stuff in there, and I think my wife will be pretty happy with it. That's all we got for this time. If you haven't subscribed yet, I would greatly appreciate it if you would consider doing so. And remember to always respect the power of your power tools. We'll see you soon.